cold water or ice baths. It's always been there. We know that it's a recovery tool, but I've really, over the last 2 years, really fallen in love with the process of cold water. There's a lot of new science that's come out.
What can we verify? What's been proved? What has been studied? And when it comes to cold plunging, there is lots of science to say there are a lot of benefits. But this is not a biohack. This really, really works. You've probably heard that cold plunges do everything short of filing your taxes. Testosterone boosts, weight loss, longevity. No. So in this episode, we are going to do away with the biohacking fairy tales and look at what actually works, the science. No fluff, just fuff and the facts.
That's it.
That's beautiful, man.
That's a great
I'm going
line.
to use that a lot. That should be our tagline.
How long did you prepare for that line?
But seriously, cold plunging is not a miracle cure. It's controlled discomfort that activates primal and powerful systems that we've neglected. And it really does work if you do it right, which is kind of, Sean, where you've specialized. I mean, you've been doing this a while. You've got your tweaks. I'd love to hear how you do it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dr. Mike. Cold plunging is definitely one of the stack. There's all these things you want to put together, but today we're focusing on cold exposure and cold stacking. But I think the best thing to do is let's start with this discomfort, because everybody in this whole world is addicted to comfort. Everything is on ready to go on your phone. You can click, you can get your shopping, your food. And we don't really experience discomfort or some type of pain unless we do it. So starting your day with something that's uncomfortable, I think that's a fantastic way to set up your day. So that's the thing I look forward to the most. I can't say I love it. I don't stand there going, I can't wait to get in there and freeze and let my teeth shiver. But when you're out, there are so many biological things that happen that it is worth 10 times the effort and the pain that you experience. Plus, breaking that addiction to comfort, I think, is critical, especially to get your morning off right.
And that works for kind of mere mortals like you and I. But Viking over here, who's also a pro athlete, I mean, you're used to discomfort. That's your life. There's I push myself. It's hard. That's normal for you, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I think for us in the sporting world, we've always used cold water or ice baths. It's always been there. We know that it's a recovery tool. We've always used it as such. So for me, like after a match, straight into an ice bath. Like you'll just know in a day or two time we're playing another game, so you're trying to get rid of all that lactic acid. So from a recovery point of view, it's always been there and it's great. Even in instances, I think back of test matches, super, super hot. You've been batting the whole day and you walk off, it's a lunch break and you're feeling fatigued and tired. Jump in the ice bath, feel energized, almost like refocused, and then go and try and bat out in 40-degree heat again. So that's almost like what it's been used for in sport. But I've really, over the last 2 years, really fallen in love with the process of cold water. Installed one in my house. So when I'm there, I'm always in it. So yes, understanding the recovery, but now with the science coming up with all the new things, longevity, heart health, all those things. And you know me, I'm the 1% guy. I'm all in. So, and then another layer on that is probably did a bit of genetic testing and was told that I've got some really high inflammatory markers. So an ice bath is a great way to get inflammation down. So for me, it's become a part of my morning routine. I love it. As you would say, a longevity hack.
I don't like cold plunging. I really battle with it because I like my comfort, but I do it because I know there are benefits, and I'll get in. And one of the key benefits for me is dopamine. So, 250% above your normal dopamine level. That's what you get from a cold plunge. Now, dopamine is your reward molecule. It's a molecule that makes you feel good. When you tick off something or you do something, you achieve something, that little bit of dopamine, you get that en masse with a cold plunge. So, bottom line, you feel better, you think clearer, and you want to high-five strangers just after a cold plunge. I mean, that's dopamine for you.
And Dr. Mai, while you're here, I think you're a perfect fact checker as well. So why don't I'm a bit of an autodidact, so I'm self-taught in this. So I don't assume I know everything, and that's why you're here, to make sure that I don't say anything out of place. But let me run through some of these things and see if it makes sense. Because there's so many podcasts out there, and everybody speaks a very scientific language. Confused me no end. So I had to go and study, what do these things mean, and you get in a cold plunge, you get out, you feel focused and you feel great. But like, why? People want to know why. Because cold plunging has been around. It's not the latest hack that arrived last week. I mean, if you travel around Turkey or Greece or, Italy, it's all the Roman baths are everywhere, was immersed in their culture. And they did, sauna, and they did heat rooms, and they did cold, so it's been like the ancient biohack for thousands of years. And when you talk about cold plunging, we have to talk about sauna, but we do have a whole nother episode on sauna, but they're always best done together, so I think the first thing is, when you're going into the ice bath, is just getting yourself ready. So I usually have had a sauna before this. So my body is hot, and that has actually prepared me. I'm already out of my comfort zone because I've already experienced some type of discomfort, and now it's time for cold plunge. One of the I'm going to do a lot of tips and pro tips and hacks, whatever you want to call it. It's just information that you can use, and if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. But one of the ways to kind of lessen it is splashing some cold water in your face quickly as well. So that is something called the mammalian dive response. So it activates your vagus nerve, puts you into a parasympathetic state. It's a little bit, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something to do with how whales dive, and as the water is flushing over their face, they need to be calm to hold their breath longer. So it makes you calm. So if you do that first, you start off calm rather than being hyped. Then when you're jumping in, we're going to talk about ice bathing, like in an ice bath, and then we're going to speak about all the free ways to do it and the ways you can do it at home tonight or tomorrow morning, whatever works for you. But as you're then about to jump in, when you're getting in, don't dip your toe in and don't feel it, and then don't try and sit so, like punch it in the face, like get in, dive in, sit in, splash. That's the best way to do it. Like take your body by surprise.
Can I just do a little rider on that?
Sure.
So dive in, dangerous,
Yeah.
and not because diving in neck,
Dive.
but head first. There's your vagus. Sometimes bodies react. You get a
Yes.
heart-stopping moment. So
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
I agree with you. Get in quickly, but
Yeah.
literally up to there. Yeah. Don't dive.
Absolutely. Yep. No diving in ice baths. We can put a little sign, next to it. And then once you're in, a few little tips is, if you're getting used to it, you can keep your arms out. No one's going to take a photo of you and call you names. Just keep your arms out. It's a way that you can actually just get over the pain. If your arms are in, it can get extremely painful very, very quick. While you're practicing, keep your arms out.
I find that same initially when I started ice baths. I find my feet was the hardest thing to do. So whether it's to do with the bones or whatever, I was just like feet out, hands out. And it was an initial thing just to get over that initial shock of starting to ice bath. And then your body gets used to that. And eventually your feet goes in, eventually your hand goes in, eventually you go a little bit deep in the ice bath. So the point is just to get in right.
So we call
just
that
gotta do it.
ischemic pain. So when you get into a cold, your body just takes all the blood and it goes central. It's like we're just protecting you. So you're losing blood flow in your hands and your feet, and that's what causes the pain, because your body's going, yeah, there's no blood. It's like a mini little heart attack for your feet.
You're fact-checking me already. I was going to get onto vasoconstriction in just a little bit. But anyway, we are on track here. So 100% right. A lot of people also take their toes out, and that just takes that unnecessary pain off. Because what you want to do is just make sure that you get in and that you stay in. So if there's a little hack, take your arms out, take your feet out. If that lets you stay in there for 3 minutes, do it. Do it until you're ready, and then you can start dropping your hands and dropping your toes. We're going to get onto the biology stuff, but one little other tip that I've learned, and mainly sending a voice note to Fuff and to you, is when I'm in there, I learned that if I send a voice, if you're sitting there looking at a timer, it is like torture, and you feel every second. If you get onto your phone, don't drop it in, and just send somebody a voice note, there's something about activating your brain and thinking of something else that just deactivates whatever's underwater. So sometimes I'll look and it's 3 minutes, and I don't know when you have time to listen to them. You do it like once a month, you catch up on all of them, I'm pretty sure. But like if you do that, you look at it, it's like 3 minutes and you forget, I'm in an ice bath. Whereas if you're in there looking at a clock, it just tick tock, it just it goes painful.
Well, that's magician tactics. It's
It i-
diversion.
it
So,
is.
look at this where I'm
It
gonna,
is.
doing something there.
Sounds
So
like a
you,
hack.
you also get the heavy breathing messages. I'm like, Sean's got a message and like this deep breathing. Going,
Yes.
what?
Whether it's the
disturbing.
hyperbaric
Do we block
oxygen
this?
tank or the
It's normally
there's always
crying.
there's always something else happening with Sean. But yeah, the voice notes is definitely. It's a great cheat code, or a phone call, or a great time. I mean, we always say don't scroll social media, but it's probably a good time to do it because you're just distracting your mind. So I also use it.
It's when detaching your brain is actually a positive.
You were asking me earlier about what happens as you get in, and I mean, we're talking 3 to 5 minutes is the ideal time in a bath. So if we're to try and break it down roughly, first minute you get in, panic. So cortisol spikes, your body's going, what? And you're just going crazy. So that first minute is just sympathetic system goes. Second minute, and I got to get this order right, your cortisol, your sympathetic system starts to come under control. So now you're starting to breathe and you're bringing that fight or flight thing down. So now no longer do I want to jump out and surrender. Now I'm like, okay, I'm getting to this. I think around your third minute, that's when dopamine starts having its effect. So suddenly,
Dopamine. Explain dopamine to me.
so dopamine is your reward neurochemical, and it's that feel-good hormone that your brain produces. Yeah, that when you do something, when you achieve something, when that bowler comes at you and just, that feeling you
When
get.
I see you walk through the front door, I get it.
Well, I don't know about that. Let's go back to the, so that's dopamine. And I think by the fourth minute, you get this thermogenesis starts to kick in. So your brown fat gets stimulated. Now, your brown fat is fat that is like your body's internal heater. So when you activate that burns calories to raise your temperature, which is fantastic. It also cranks up your metabolic rate. So now suddenly you're operating more efficiently, and there's got something to do with insulin sensitivity, which is great too. But that kicks in around minute 3 to 4. And then by the fifth minute, I think that's when everything all just comes together. The dopamine, and you're just like, man, I've got this.
That's
and
a great feeling.
And yeah, so those 5 minutes, and that's why those 5 minutes are key. Any longer, and you're just wasting time.
The benefits drop off a cliff after like 6 minutes, I believe.
Which is great because, I mean, that's, we don't have to sit there for hours. It's just like,
And it used to be like that back in the day, wasn't it? Like
yeah, Wim Hof.
you got to tell 40 minutes in an ice bar, 20 minutes in an ice bar.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I don't want to do that. Well, I think this makes it, the new science is better.
The
3 to
new
5
science,
minutes,
man.
it's
Yeah.
more for everyone.
Exactly. And the new science is saying minimum 3 minutes, which is why the first 30 seconds is when you don't want to get out because you're going to have all the pain and zero gain. So they all start coming about 2 to 3 minutes. So stay at minimum 3 minutes, stay up to 6. And that is at a temperature of about between 8 and 12, whatever you can handle. And if you ever, you spoke about brown fat, and I'm gonna get to that in just a little bit. But when you're actually also jumping in, it's your catecholamine surge, isn't it? Which is from your adrenal gland, which is releases adrenaline, also called epinephrine.
All your stress hormones.
All your stress hormones. And then noradrenaline, or norepinephrine is another name for it, and dopamine. They all come from the adrenal gland. And the adrenaline, everybody knows about adrenaline. It's like it's your fight or flight. It gives you like superhuman strength. It puts all the resources to the right place. And then your noradrenaline is similar to adrenaline, it's just a bit more longer acting, whereas the adrenaline drops, the noradrenaline can last a bit longer, helps regulate your mood and gives you your focus as well. So it's almost impossible to leave a ice bath in a bad mood after the dopamine kicks in and noradrenaline is in, powering your body. So I think it's just one of those things when you get out, you've done something hard and you are ready for whatever comes your way because you've just done something hard. And then there's one major thing.
Just before the major thing, can I quickly touch on that stress hormone? Because that's so important. A lot of people say to me, but you keep saying we shouldn't stress because of the dangerous stress hormones. So what you're doing with cold plunging is you're getting your cortisol and adrenaline, all the catecholamines you talked about, they spike, but they spike relatively quickly and they drop quickly too. Except noradrenaline that kind of has this taper off. But that's what you want. You want this stress and recovery. It's like your heart. Your heart beats do-doop, do-doop. It doesn't kind of always stress. And that's the difference. This immediate stress and recovery is good for you. It's the long-term stress that just causes burnout, breakdown, all that sort of stuff. So
continued
that's why cold plunging
stress.
is good.
Yeah,
Precisely.
it's like running your motor at 100%. It's the same. It's made for peaks, same as our body.
But then the big thing.
Yes. Shivering is your friend. Because when you get out, everybody that I used to see getting out, they run to the warm shower And as they turn that tap onto warm, they are turning off all the real good benefits that are kicking in. Because when you start to shiver, that's your brown fat, your brown adipose tissue. It's a metabolic fat. It is dense in mitochondria, which is your energy parts of your cell. That's why it's brown. There's so much mitochondria in there, it changes the color. So it's metabolically active. It's also called your body's furnace. So it kicks in to go, my temperature has dropped. I need to raise temperature. It starts to burn calories and in some cases fat as well to get your temperature back so that you get back into homeostasis. So shivering is your friend. You need to be, first of all, you need to be shivering when you get out. And if you aren't shivering, drop the temp a little bit, keep the same minutes, or keep the temp and extend the minutes. Don't do both because you have like a multiplier effect. You're like twice as hard. Just do one. Because when you come out, you want to shiver, and you want to shiver for as long as possible. Because as long as your brown fat is active, you are literally burning up calories, raising your metabolic rate, and that is where the good thing is. They get turned off straight away as you have the warm shower. Put on warm clothes, walk around a little bit. Shivering's your friend. You're going to hear me say that a lot, but it really is true. And I think, Dr. Ma, I don't know if there's anything else we've missed in the biological stuff.
Yeah,
but
we'll get into it in a
there's
moment. I'm
loads.
just curious. I mean, you've got an ice bath at home. How does your wife handle the cold?
Yeah, so interestingly, when I first got it, she was like, I'm never getting to that thing because she doesn't like cold water. And I think over a period of time of seeing me get into it and seeing how I'm always happy and she's not necessarily the same, she was like, maybe at some stage I will try it. So it took a bit of a while for her to get it. But now, today we're sitting and we probably, as a couple, would do 4 to 6 ice bath sessions a week. Not together in the same time, but we've
Not
got,
that romantic.
it's
Okay.
romantic, but not romantic. So we do. She loves it. There's certain times of the month that she doesn't love it. So maybe that's a question for you. Why does it work like that with females? For us, obviously, as guys, there's always and ever is great. Like there's no day that it's not good for an ice bath because we just always feel better, right? But I've noticed with her, she's like, no, I'm a bit like crampy today. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So in a woman's luteal phase, so just after she's ovulated, kind of day 10 to 14 of her cycle, there's an increase in core body temperature. And it's during that phase that cold plunging could feel particularly brutal.
Yeah.
And it just makes it more uncomfortable. And if you combine that with a lot of women have a different sort of brown fat, white fat ratio, might make them even more susceptible to cold.
Okay.
So in those instances, I mean, my recommendation is don't stop the practice. So consistency wins. Just warm up the temperature slightly and shorten the duration. So just adapt, but keep the practice because again, it's the consistency that really is that gives you all the benefits as opposed to the once.
And you're going to hear that a lot on this podcast because consistency really is key. We're talking about all these small changes, but it's doing them every day over and over and eventually adding them up, the ones that work for you. So we're definitely going to speak about that more.
Just around training, there's a lot of new science that's come out. When you do a strength session, like do your ice bath late in the day, whereas our whole lives, basically, we've been told that it's a recovery tool. You do the ice bath after a workout, and it hasn't felt like it hasn't worked, but now it's like you can only do an ice bath after endurance or sport or a cardio session. But when it comes to building or strength sessions, it's better to do it later in the afternoon.
Like what he said. I mean, exactly. If you want the science behind that, Faf, you have the mTOR system or mTOR pathway that gets triggered, and that's what triggers muscle growth. If you are doing a cold plunge, it blunts that mTOR pathway. So in other words, cold plunging is great for recovery, reduces inflammation, reduces DOMS and soreness. So after a match, absolutely. But if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to hypertrophy, cold plunges are the worst thing to do straight after training.
Okay.
So you're going to blunt your gains.
It's interesting that that's never, I mean, unless it's like me at school, I didn't listen much, but it's not something that I picked up in my years of playing sport, like guys don't do this. And it seems like it's such an obvious thing because it's always been the case, right? The biology or the science says, like you're saying, you shunt your.
But you just said it a couple of times now, new science or the latest science. And we need to accept that we know today more than we knew yesterday. And it's just, and so it's not that we were wrong, it's that we know better.
And you know, I mean, I read that report, and it does say somewhere that it blunts your hypertrophy if you're chronically doing it, which means you're consistently and doing it every single time. So if you've done it once in a week, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to lose all my muscle, or that was all useless. It was just, if you're going to do a good practice, make sure it's not a consistent part. But if you like once or twice a week and you've done strength training, I think it's fine. For me, the benefit in my mood and that you can
Hormesis.
norm what you said.
It's a lot of big words.
Tongue-tied. And that's like regulating the mood for me. And it's probably like the undiagnosed ADHD brain that I have, which is that just helps me get through the rest of the day. So for me, I would still do it. Like I'm personally, I'm not going to go, oh, I did bench press today, I'm not going to do cold plunge. But if you're looking for the ideal science-based thing, I completely agree. Avoid it, especially if you're trying to do a competition or something. But I think that a lot of these things, you put them together and do what works for you. So personally, I wouldn't skip it just because of a scientific report that says that, but that's my opinion.
And it doesn't have to be an ice bath, right? Like, I mean, the obvious thing is you get your own ice bath. That's the best thing. But what other ways can you, like a normal person who doesn't have an ice bath, what does
Yeah, I
that
mean,
look like?
it comes up a lot, you know,
Sorry,
because
I just want to double click on that. So you said like a normal person who doesn't have an ice bath, which means you're not normal. You're
I'm
like
not normal.
extraordinary.
No, no.
there's nothing normal.
No,
But
I
anyway,
love it. I'm sorry.
I was,
I'm
it
just
was a
messing with you.
dam
Yes,
or a
yes.
cold pool. Like,
No,
remember when
you're
we
right.
grew
I don't
up,
have a cold
back in the
pleasure.
day, our cold, like pools are cold, right?
Freeze.
Now it's like my kids are like, no, the pool's too cold. Like, where's
Come
no,
on, heat
so
the pool there.
absolutely. Well, I mean, you know, we based out of Cape Town, and the water around the coastline is cold. That's why you see a lot of people swimming in the morning. That ranges from anywhere from 12 degrees to 14 to 15 degrees. So it's slightly out of like the scientific range, but if you're swimming in the ocean, you're getting enough of all of these chemicals, especially if you end up staying in there longer. So absolutely keep doing that. I think it's a great social thing. It's a community thing. There's only one person fits in an ice bath. It's actually get quite lonely if you're just doing it on your own. So much nicer to be outside, especially in the sea. You're grounding, you're being in the water, you're speaking with your friends, and then you're having an amazing coffee or something afterwards. So highly, highly recommended. Now, if you can't do that every day, just in your house, cold shower, especially if you've had a hot shower. So the easy way to do it is when you are showering, have your normal hot shower. Let's say you have the soap on at the end, turn it on, stand back, let it get cold for about 30 seconds, let all the hot water go, and then just get in there. And then you basically have to, the South African word, fuss bait. You literally just have to grin and bear it, because it's going to be rough. Start with 30 seconds. Make sure it's on your head, going down your neck and your shoulders. Try and get the front and the back. That's not so easy if you have a small shower head, but just make sure that you are going into discomfort. You know, try 30 seconds to start, then move it to a minute, then move it to 2 minutes. And if you can do 3 minutes standing in a cold shower, you're getting nearly all of those biochemical reactions and injections that we spoke about earlier.
And here's one of the other really great benefits of cold plunging is it's like fitness training to deal with stress. So 30 seconds, I get into that cold shower, and this is really hard because none of us have an excuse. You know, most of us would have a cold shower. You get in and your body panics going, what are you doing? And cortisol goes and you get this whole, flight or flight reaction. And then you control that with just some breathing, some nasal breathing, deep in through the nose. And you just manage that stress. And it teaches your body, it trains your body to deal with stress, so that when you hit stress later on in the day, that meeting, that client, the customer complaint, whatever suddenly that sort of stress you deal with a whole lot better than you used to, because you're used to dealing with your body. So it's fitness for stress resilience. And that is a key benefit. It really is. That goes way beyond just physical benefits of cold plunging.
resilience training.
And it's that nasal breathing, especially exhaling. They call it the breathing steering wheel when you're in the cold plunge. It literally lowers all the stress and you're going into that parasympathetic state. And then if you do that long enough, when you're in that meeting and that thing happens that's going to stress you out, you won't even probably know it, but the next minute you'll be exhaling through your nose. Even just as I did it there, my whole body just went into a calmer state, and then your mind focuses. Because remember, all those things that are happening when you go in a cold plunge is the same as if you've fallen in a frozen lake. So your body goes, I'm in trouble. Send all the resources to the brain so that I can figure this out. Then it sends it to the heart. So you have the energy and the blood pumping through your veins. Then it sends the third wave to your lungs so that you can breathe. All of those things oxygenated. It just brings up your mind into this beautiful focus and clarity. So let's carry on telling everybody how to get it for free, because nobody wants. We don't have to sell expensive ice baths every day. There's free options here. And the second one is that mammalian dive response, which I spoke about earlier. It's just getting a bowl of water, putting some ice in it, just putting some ice cubes in it, letting that temperature drop. Stand by your basin while you're doing your toiletries, and you put your face in, hold your breath for about 30 seconds. Try and do that 2 or 3 times. And what that's doing is that cold water, that dive response. So it's activating the vagus nerve and putting you into a parasympathetic state, just chilling you out. But it doesn't just chill you out and your brain's not working like you're on a holiday. It focuses your mind. So it calms you down and focuses, which is amazing. So that's something that you can do. Vasoconstriction and vasodilation. So I know those are big words, but if you just imagine all the veins and arteries in your body as like a hose pipe, and then vasodilation is them opening, and vasoconstriction is them closing. So when you're getting into an ice bath, you are constricting the blood flow, and it's taking the blood flow away from the skin, because as the blood gets to the skin, heat escapes. So by closing your hose pipe of your veins, you're stopping the heat going to your skin and escaping. It's a protection mode. It's keeping it in the core. And we'll speak about the sauna vasodilation, where it's trying to get the heat out your body because your core is up. That's when your veins expand. So when you are doing the contrast between vasodilation from a sauna and vasoconstriction, when it's shortened, when it gets smaller from ice bath, you are literally exercising your blood work. All your veins, all your arteries are going in and out, and it is improving its elasticity, which is why it leads to lower blood pressure and lower heart, cardiovascular risk. So it's an amazing thing that happens, and we definitely promote, the contrast, the heat and then the cold.
That's honestly, that feeling is one of my favorite feelings. And I've done ice baths probably the last 2 years regular a lot. But I've recently added sauna to that as well. And going straight from the sauna to the ice bath, it gives me this funny tinglish feeling that runs through my body. I don't know what's happening there, but it feels addicting. Like I just want more of it.
It's activating your nervous system. It's just everything firing up, because you've gone from everything hot to everything cold. You're putting your body under stress, and then it activates, and all these extra senses and energies gets released.
It's almost like you get a cold breath that comes out of your, I don't know how to explain. It's like when you breathe that, it's like, when it's cold in the winter and it's that white that comes out of your breath. I get that feeling like there's ice in my veins.
We probably have somebody in screaming in the audience now. Please just tell us how another way we can do this for free. So the other way that I found is a good way to do it is fill your bathtub. Hopefully, if you don't have a bathtub, this obviously won't work. So fill it up with normal water, and then just go and buy those 5-liter water bottles from any of the shopping markets. Get 3 of them, put them in your deep freeze, freeze them overnight, put them in your bath and leave them for 20 to 30 minutes. That should drop the temperature to between 10 and 12, and then you literally have a free ice bath. You can get in there. It will last a few hours. The family can rotate if you want. Then take them out when you finish. This is where I got in trouble. I kept leaving them in the bath, and my wife was eventually, that was it. And so we did it. We ended up buying an ice bath. But for those of you that can be disciplined and take them out, put them back in the deep freeze, and then the next day you're ready to go again. Or you can just keep the water in. If you're not bathing regularly, no need to waste water. Keep the bath water in. Drop it in the next day, and you literally have an ice bath at home. You get all of these things. But look, cold shower, the face, the dive response one. And then this one is the most effective, but all of them will give you similar benefits, and you pretty much don't have to spend a penny. So I think that those are the things we like to leave the audience with. because, ice bath, yes, if you can afford it, it's a great thing to have at home. We often have social occasions now where we'll do sauna and ice bath as entertainment. It's amazing. All the other forms of entertainment are done. Now there's biohacking entertainment.
Hey, you talked about biohacking. One of the other benefits that are less sexy, but almost, how would I put this? Probably one of the most important benefits is insulin sensitivity. And there was a study that showed after 10 days of cold plunges, people's insulin sensitivity was increased by 40%. And just to explain that in practical terms, if you are sensitive to insulin, you need less insulin to get the same effect of getting glucose out of your blood into your cells for life and energy, which protects you from diabetes and insulin resistance. 40%. I mean,
That's
that's
unbelievable.
It's like metabolic magic. You get it, you're burning fat, you're getting the stable energy, glucose control is perfect, all while shivering in your speedo. I mean, it's just.
And remember, shivering's your friend. Shivering is your friend. Just if you only remember one thing, remember shivering is your friend.
I find you were talking about straight into the cold earlier. I find that quite tricky in the mornings. Like I really enjoy ice bath if I can do something hard first, whether it's training or a match, or even when I have a gym session and I go 3 hours later, or a warm shower in the morning. But straight out of bed into a ice bath, I'm like you on that one. I can't do that one yet. But I love the hardness before it. It's almost like it's the reward for the training as well.
No, I totally agree. If you just jump in there, it's unnecessarily painful. But now leaving some final thoughts, Dr. Mike, what do you want to leave?
So for me, when it comes to does it work, or the question that I'm always grappling with is, what does the science say? What can we verify? What's been proved? What has been studied? And when it comes to cold plunging, there is lots of science to say there are a lot of benefits. We've touched on many of them, but this is not a biohack. This really, really works. Studies show that. So it's not about being tough. It's about being adaptive, doing hard things, and maybe feeling a little bit invincible after that 5-minute plunge.
Yeah, for me, if I have to sum up what I've heard from the science point of view and the biohacking, like I've always loved it, but the fact that Dr. Moll talks about the percentage just goes up when it comes to your health, longevity. For me, it's become so much a part of my daily routine. I can't live with it now, but thank you for just confirming that for me today. It sounds like it's an absolute no-brainer to go without cold water.
Yeah, and as we've said, it's been around for thousands of years. When you travel around the world, you'll see remnants of people having ice baths and saunas for thousands of years, so it can't be wrong. From my side, it's one of the things that I do to break any addiction to comfort. I like that discomfort. You can do hard things afterwards. You will be amazed at how many problems you can solve when they come, when your brain is fully activated. All those chemicals and neurotransmitters are in your blood, in your brain, helping you to be the best person that you can be. And remember, if I have to say one final time, shivering's your friend. If you remember one thing from today, remember that. Give us your tips. Tell us if you take your toes in or out. If there's something else that we can learn, please bring it. We always have follow-up episodes. We want to hear how you do it. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.